Okay, good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to House Human Services. We are taking up the final version of our recommendations to the House Appropriations Committee. And we are just going to start at the top of the document. If you want to go into the document, SY, the State Fiscal Year 27 budget table. And we're just going to go through everything, okay, to finalize our decisions. Okay. So the first thing that we have is Department for Children and Families, Child Development Division. Well, I don't need to speak. The
Sure.
committee members can speak.
Yeah, this is a net decrease of a little over $2 million, and it consists of some programmatic changes as well as a net neutral transfer and a loss of federal spending authority. We gave some of the details there, but we talked last week why we concur with these changes, and more detail is on the budget document. But basically, the programmatic changes aren't really having a significant impact on families or children or programs. So we concur with that decrease. And this does also include increase of slightly over $6 million of general fund over to special fund because of the shortfall there. So I agree with that. And then the next line item.
Before you go.
Yeah.
The decrease of $1.1 million in strengthening families. What does it mean, additional funds available via Act 76?
So additional funds are available to not replace this program, but to offset some of the impacts.
Through CCFAP?
Not through CCFAP, just through some of the quality funding in Act 76. So it's not a direct, because these are special individual and for the strengthening families, and that framework is now being incorporated into STARS, and there's $10 million allocated in Act 76 that just goes for quality programming. So that money is going to be, some of that money is going to be used to bolster the strengthening families protocol and framework across the state.
Okay. Everybody understand that? Okay. So we're not recommending, we're recommending concurring with the governor's budget. I think we should show the 6.5 million increase.
We should what?
We should show the increase.
That's right there.
First bullet. Oh,
It's in black, and then all the decreases are in red.
okay. I gotcha. Sorry. I was immediately drawn to the red.
I know, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I did ask Ray to check in with Ways and Means because a chunk of this money is going to the tax department because they are operating and needed to do the software changes and all of the outreach to employers and folks who are self-employed. And so that is, and they had asked for 2.5 million. And I don't know if there's any further.
We don't have an answer. We have a question to the department to clarify, because the tax department is indicating, and their budget person is out this week, so they'll be back on Monday. But what we received from them was that they're budgeting roughly 2 million is what they put in the email. So we put a question out to DCF to understand the discrepancy between 2.5 million and the 2 million that the tax department says they're budgeting for that administration of this.
So roughly 4 million of this is for actual CCFAP payments to childcare providers on behalf of families. And the other 2 to 2.5 million is to the tax department. And this is, as you might recall, the opposite direction from last year. And so we have increased utilization of the Child Care Financial Assistance Program, which is what it was intended to do. So And, okay. Anybody have any questions about that? This is within the governor's budget, notations being made. Everybody okay with this? This is going to be the final round of yay, nays.
Yeah, so if there's any objections or questions, now would be.
Now's the
moment
time to say. Okay,
Okay, so the next line item is the parent-child care centers. They had a overall request of, I forget the exact number, but 180 of that was concrete supports directly to families. 500,000 was essentially a COLA, and the rest of it was for the benefit assisters to be housed within the parent-child centers. And our recommendation is to fund the 180 of the concrete supports, 180,000 of the concrete supports, and to offset that by reducing the school age childcare grants where we have $2 million. And I don't know if folks have heard this, but I'll share now because it was shared during the BDF state advisory meeting yesterday. So Vermont recently heard that we received the federal grant for disaster recovery, $19 million for the Child Development Division and this is special funding because it allows for actual capital construction costs, which is very unusual for the Child Development Division. So we felt that with that grant coming in and the recent the PDG grant being awarded in December, we felt like the school age line item was a place where there was other funds possibly that could supplement that offset that we're asking for.
can you tell me what the total amount is that was request from the parent-child centers?
I would have to look it up. So
Okay.
give me a moment.
So, sorry, we don't, I'm just going to,
I can, do you want me to
Insert it.
put it in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
a request of X from
Really?
parent-child centers.
700. Sorry. 1.2 million, 1.7. 1,880,000.
110,
The total.
But a part of that was the,
no, just the total request.
This is 188.
880,000.
Including benefits assistance.
Benefits assistance.
Yeah,
So is that in here?
Yeah,
no,
not there.
so out of the 1,880,000, we're recommending 180,000 and, increase to, you can see the line item there. And we're taking a reduction of 180,000 in order to fund that in another area for school age childcare.
And what's the 7 million? What's that?
That's just saying increase the line item, see the line item 603,650
Okay,
to 7,029,750 and reduce line item 603,625 from 2 million to 1,820,000. So the 180 was taken from one and put in the other.
so it's cost neutral.
It's neutral.
7 million represents the governor's recommend for the parent-child work.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay,
That's it for us.
okay. Family Services Division. Oh, okay. So just confirming. Unless I hear somebody speaking up and saying, no, I don't like that. We're gonna move along because we have a lot to get through. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I want clarification. So that new grant opportunity that you spoke to, Ray, that could not apply to some of the like capacity supports that they requested within that like $500,000 ask, like that.
I'm sorry, can you repeat? the
Sorry, that was
question?
a bit jumbled, but I'm just learning about this grant opportunity that you spoke to today. And so I just want to make sure that with that revenue source available, I'm just concerned that capacity within PCCs is going to decrease. And that's why I don't think that $500,000 request really constitutes a COLA, like in the traditional way we're thinking about. So I just wanted to see if that grant money could potentially be applied to that request for their staff there.
Yeah, so I have particular knowledge about the grant because I wrote it.
Oh, okay.
And it's a federal grant with a lot of red strings.
Yeah.
And it is very specifically around disaster relief
Okay.
and capacity building. So it's like adding slots, childcare slots. So the way the grant was written was really identifying areas of state that were impacted by federal disasters, and then giving some ideas for construction development of like childcare centers.
How to make them
That
more
would
resilient
be-
and things?
To build new childcare centers in areas that would be more resilient and impact any negative consequences from the floods that we had.
So my question then may be like, instead of 500,000 to spread throughout all 8, or not 8, I'm sorry, how many PCCs there are? But could it be those that were just most drastically impacted by the floods that could?
No, because the money is for capacity building capacity, and the $500,000 is really for staffing, and they're not requesting to add childcare slots at the parent-child centers. And I don't believe, and I should know this, but not all parent-child centers have
Correct.
childcare.
Uh-huh.
And that 500,000 from our review did not seek to
Yeah.
add childcare slots. So it wasn't like hiring staff to open a new classroom.
Yeah.
It was to increase like wages for staff and their benefits for existing staff to maintain their current, which that's why we saw it as a COLA.
Yeah, or capacity, I guess the way the capacity I think they're talking about here is more like kind of like a social service provider in a way, not capacity for childcare slots, but rather
Yeah.
to provide access to like families to have access to social services in a way. So a different kind of capacity, but
Sure.
capacity nonetheless. But I understand. So it sounds like that particular grant cannot be used for this type of need.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why we can use it for like do the swap for the school childcare, and I don't even know if they're gonna like backfill that, but that school childcare line item is specifically adding capacity for school age, so it's adding slots in areas of states that are needed.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to be very clear because I just know how, all of us know how much they do for our,
No, but I hear you, they're both capacity, right?
Yeah.
Like,
totally. Okay,
Just
thank
a
you.
technical change in the document, the 7,029,750. That's actually the governor's recommend, so we just need to amend that to 7,209,000
oh, thank you.
to reflect the $180,000 increase.
209,
Yeah,
750.
No.
correct.
And I think the priorities we used last year were highest high.
Okay.
So
this
any ones that we
highest.
are finding funding for,
Yeah.
I think we,
highest.
yeah.
This is the governor's proposed budget.
Okay, Anne,
All right, so Department for Children and Families, the first two were cuts to prevention programs, 50% to the Prevent Child Abuse Parent Education Program, and 25% for post-permanency to 3 agencies for support to new adoptions and guardianships that are highly preventative for children who have been or may be at risk of DCF custody. This is the area where we heard from the deputy commissioner. These are the programs which helped save more than $600,000 in kids being taken into custody last year. But that was invested elsewhere rather than reinvested in prevention and is proposed to be cut. Most of the major new investments in the budget have to do with the high-end system of care, including the new 3-bed program that will be costing almost $4,000 per day per bed, whether there's a child in the bed or not. And the more work that we've done, and I've been getting more information over the weekend and even this morning, the clearer it is that there is a lot of leeway in those budgets. Even some possible carryover funds, which they just mentioned this morning when I was asking about one of the line items for where did we spend the $2 million on the new program that hasn't opened yet in the last year. So the proposal is to take that, backfill those two amounts with a much smaller amount from the high-end system of care money, because that's all general fund. There's no federal fund. And the programs being cut have global commitment in them. So that's the first two items there.
So that's what I have a question about, Anne.
Yep.
194, 373 and 293, 866. Is that global commitment or is that straight general fund?
The amount
The cut,
to be the
the cut first. Let's do the
okay,
cut
the
first.
cut. The Prevent Child Abuse cut is not 100% global commitment. I got the breakout of the percentage of it that's global commitment and got Nolan translated that into how much general fund was included in that 194.
Okay, so there's a 164,588 of general fund in the 194, 373. Is that what's
Exactly.
being stated? Okay.
Exactly.
So I think we need to modify that recommendation because it doesn't show that we're restoring full funding. I think we should just say that 194, 373 and then put GS/GC.
Doing it now.
Okay, but it's not reducing line 60338 by 194.
Oh, you're right.
Well, is my question. So
It's
what
reducing,
is 603338?
that's the,
High-end
that's the
system of care.
high-end system of care.
Okay, so we should say that's what it is in here.
Oh, right, okay,
So that,
for the high-end system of care.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's by the 164. It does start off saying restore funding in full, and then,
right. I
Yeah.
can tell you that the question I will get downstairs is how are we restoring it when in full if we're only reducing
right,
high-end system of care by 164?
right,
So we need to say 164,588 plus the difference between that and 194, 373 is GC is what you're saying.
right. Or restore GC funding in full and reduce it by GF to offset the change. Would that say it?
I just want to make sure that there's no questions
Right,
about what our intent is.
yep,
And, Nolan will be assisting them, but
So 29,785 would be the difference.
would be the
The
GC. So
GC.
just,
So I'll
yeah,
put that
okay.
in parentheses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
I just think it needs to add up to the 194, 373.
Right.
They need to be able to sort of
See that.
see that,
Yeah.
right?
See
Okay.
that change, yeah.
Anybody have any issues with that? Again, we're not increasing.
so but it makes it sound that way, well, we could maybe wordsmith afterwards if you want, but that makes it, the way it's written right now, it says by general fund, and then the parentheses, GC, makes it sound that line item that's being reduced has 164 general fund and 29 global
Well,
commitment.
we can figure out where to put the 29,785. It
Okay.
just, it needs to be in there so that
Yep.
they can see those two things add up to the 194.
Okay,
Okay,
Yep.
I'm not hearing any disagreement. Okay. And the same thing, we need to do the
Yeah.
same thing.
right,
And if you could add the high-end system of care there too, and the difference.
And that's less than the GF obligation for the one above, but the total is more. So the GC and the GF blend, the blend of those funds.
the
Well,
blend is different.
The blend is different for the post-permanency versus the nurturing parent program.
Post-permanency is 100% global commitment. So it's, that makes it 40-something%. That's general fund. Whereas
Threw it in
the,
now, but we'll
Hmm.
figure out. where
Yeah.
it needs to go.
what I'm trying to figure out is in the high-end system of care, is that was that proposed to be GC or was that all general
It
fund?
has to be, yeah, it's all general fund.
All general
Because
fund.
only general fund can fund the justice system involved programs.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay, next.
Okay.
Supervised visitation.
yep, the third one is the supervised visitation was a presentation we had last week. This is a follow-up to our request last year to do a deeper dive into how we can make equal access around the state because 6 counties have visitation centers to enable children to supervise visitation, to enable children to see their parents, but the others don't. So this proposal increases the funds for supervised visitation so that we can begin putting in place a plan to increase the other counties, beginning with 2 next year with half-year development. They won't be able to start right away, and half-year fully funded. And also to add base funds to the 6 others, which they've been closing down in some counties because there's so little funds. Even the base funding proposed will not at all meet their costs, but it will help sustain them. And the proposal is for that resource to come from a CHINS special fund in judiciary, which has a significant amount of unused money in it right now, about $2 million. So this would only be one-time funding in the sense that we haven't identified a base, although it looks like it can be sustained at least for several years. Part of the coordinator's position is to work with DCF on sustainable path forward. But at least we get it started.
Does the language, do we need to say anything in here about the Vermont Center for Crime Victim Services transfer?
If we want the details, yes, because they're, let's see, where does it say?
I haven't looked at the language. Does it say it in the language?
It does not, and it doesn't say that the part-time position is with the crime victim services. So those are, that's,
Part-time position's not with Crime Victim Services.
That
Is it?
network is.
yes,
I thought it was
that,
with the network.
I'm sorry, the network. Well, it's money from the network that it's coming from.
No, the Center for Crime Victim Services is transferring part of the funding that they have.
And I had a typo in my original draft. I believe it's the same group. It's the same justice. I get the initials wrong. It's the same group that's going to have the part-time position. The ones who have been running it all along. And they're saying, take back the money that gets delivered to the programs, but we will continue to coordinate the development of new sites and the consistency among the sites with this part-time position.
So I don't really care in the end who coordinates it. But I think we need to indicate, because we need to transfer money from, so this 249.3, part of it is coming from CHINS. And then we need to make a note, well, I mean, that whole of that is coming from CHINS, but we need to indicate. the
It also
transfer
involves
from- Right,
right. That's right. It also includes a transfer to the crime victims services of the amount just for the coordinator, and the transfer, or if you just do it in one smaller transfer, the transfer back to the full prior amount that they were.
the amount that.
Yeah,
we're
and
giving out for
I can get those numbers right.
So,
away.
I'm just going to ask a clarifying question
Yep.
of, the network representative who's here.
Oh, good.
So I'm just trying to figure out why would the, why would the network give out the money, but the coordinator be at the Center for Crime Victim Services? I understood all being consolidated at the network.
Yeah, so Charlie Glisserman, Policy Director at the Vermont Network Against Domestic and Sexual Violence.
I'm sorry. So I keep mixing up.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. No, I'm so glad you're there to give the accurate information even from what I just said.
So the Vermont Network Against Domestic and Sexual Violence has provided statewide coordination and support through a part-time position. And we will continue to do that with the funding spelled out in this bill. So that's over here. And then over here is that the Center for Crime Victim Services has historically received a small amount of general funds, which has then been granted out to supervised visitation programs.
Right.
So the proposal is for the money that has gone previously to the Center for Crime Victim Services to go to DCF instead. And so all of the funds that are provided to supervised visitation programs from state agencies will flow through DCF. And that is how the funds will be administered.
And what is that dollar amount that says the amount that Crime Victim Services is?
That's 137,500.
Okay,
So that fund transfer goes from VCCBS to
to
DCF.
DCF.
And then the
249.3 comes from CHINS and it all gets granted to the Vermont Network.
correct. What was the amount?
249.3.
So it is all granted to DCF. So the Vermont Network Against Domestic and Sexual Violence is not going to administer the supervised
right,
visitation
okay.
funds. That is DCF. We are going to provide statewide coordination.
That's
and
and
support
that's 50,000
for statewide coordination,
for the
yes.
coordination that goes to the Vermont network.
Okay,
But is that already in the 137.5, the 50?
it's in the 249.3.
It's in the 249.
It's in the
Okay.
249, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And we'll take a look at the language just to make sure it's absolutely clear. Does the language specify, will the center, will the network rather, be involved in making recommendations as to, how much money each
yes,
entity receives?
There is language currently drafted noting that the Vermont Network will collaborate with DCF on a few different items within supervised visitation programs, including developing a funding formula.
formula for the supervisor.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes, and the language is all correct here.
No, we got, yes, you got to see language, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the clarification.
Thank you.
And I assume other languages we're going to deal with later.
We're gonna look at language afterwards, and we
Okay.
need a B number where this would go.
Oh. Okay, I'll have to find that. I don't know where that is because it wasn't in the documents we got because it was no change. It wasn't an up or a down from DCF, so.
Yeah.
We'll just make a note of that if we can. Okay. All right. And then, so for members, I realized that conversation was all happening here at this end of the table. So just to summarize, 137,500 will be transferred from the Center for Crime Victim Services to DCF. And that is money that's already in the base budget. There's no increase. It just requires language to make that happen. And then we are saying an increase of $249,300 to stabilize the existing system and to expand into 2 new areas. And that money is coming from a special fund, the CHINS special fund in the judiciary, as there's a direct correlation between what this money is being used for and the purpose of that fund. So we, again, are finding a source of funding for an increase that we are proposing.
Just to add to the link to judiciary, DCF has its own separate funding for supervised visitation that's needed because a child is in DCF custody and parents are visiting and there are issues about it. This group is specifically the ones who are ordered for supervised visitation by the court system, by the judiciary. So that's the link, rather than by DCF.
And we have a separate memo that Ann is working on that outlines our concerns regarding the high cost of the high-end system of care.
I have
And
sent that, people have gotten it.
they've gotten it now, okay. So that will be attached to our budget memo because, it raises some concerns about, the future, honestly. Okay,
And Anne, I just found a B number or a line
Oh.
item.
Oh,
It's
good.
not a B number, it's a line item. Just actually never.
Awesome.
okay,
Great.
okay, DCF Economic Services Division.
Yes. So first up, we have general assistance. We've listed what the governor's recommendation was, and then under the advice of Teresa Wood, we put their pending separate bill under consideration. As that will all come into play under our committee bill.
For the housing part of it.
Yep.
So these things here are not all housing.
Okay.
So what are we saying about the Social Security Specialist Agreement cut? Or the personal needs incidentals, that kind of stuff.
Okay, those are, yeah, those part, I mean, we, I guess concur with those parts. There wasn't, we just have nowhere to pull from, without taking from housing and homelessness resources, so,
Okay.
So where's that?
our hands are tied. So that would be the 139, 171, which, I think we both have concerns about cutting that, but that's also that same kind of navigation type assistance, specifically for around folks who are eligible or receiving Social Security. So I don't know if we could peg that in with our assisters. Yeah. The 32809, that is kind of, again, those types of things where we really encourage the department to do more outreach rather than cutting, but just don't have anywhere else to find that money. And then, yeah, the other one's kind of from the global commitment. And then there is an increase in support services. I know some of that is like the line item where we pay for cremations and funerals for folks who have died. Well,
They say it's a
we're
caseload
choosing
underutilized.
that. Yeah, I wonder.
But you did find that money somewhere?
That's from the governor's recommendation.
Oh, so this is okay, the 40? That's funded?
They're not disputing the reduction.
Okay.
I wouldn't use the words okay.
Right,
Yeah.
not
I
disputing.
think we have a lot in ours.
So the 139 and the 32, there's no money, that's really not funded in the governor's budget.
Right.
Just making myself notes. And the 7 million, what's that?
That is the governor's proposed overall decrease to the general assistance program.
We're deferring any recommendation on that.
Pending our housing bill.
Depending on the result, or work on the
So
bill.
just one question. Okay.
And, being that this is a very, like, for example, the first item, the Social Security Specialist Agreement, sometimes people who are in shelter, that is their only source of income, of course. And so I think it would be worth our time to make sure that in the benefits assisters proposal that we are very specific about SSI, SSDI support and applications, like especially given that the governor is very specifically saying that this is going to be cut
Yeah.
as a service.
And can you remind me what the 488 is for support services caseload adjustment? Because there's a $40,000 decrease.
It's moving money
Oh.
around in terms of the type of supportive services.
Is it actual increase or is it is this one of those net neutral things?
Yeah.
I think I typed everything out and then I realized we didn't want to have things that we would agree with, so I deleted a lot of my work from that. But I could pull it from our budget ups.
Yeah, if you could just double check, because it was one of those things that was just moving.
Yeah,
What I'm trying to do is to view this with the eye of
Appropriation.
people in
Yeah.
appropriations. So they would say, oh, there's a $40,000 decrease and then there's a $488,000 increase.
Is that you guys?
yeah. Let's see.
So the 488,000 increase, there's no money for that. It's not in the proposed budget.
It is in the, anything that we are identifying things that are in the proposed budget.
Okay. Okay.
That is right now in the proposed budget, but I am asking for clarification if that's actually an increase, given that there was a decrease in the same area.
We're not putting in things we concurred with though.
I think it's important for them to see like actual
Where it's-
service cuts, not
Programmatic things.
programmatic things, not,
Okay.
not the net neutral transfer.
No, right, but okay, so we have one to add that's
That's fine.
a cut that we're not objecting to.
Okay. Okay, so thank you for just, if you can clarify that, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay, and then Vermont, so there's, just so people understand this, the major part of this is reducing the general assistance housing. And that's part, and that essentially is going into OEO, so in the governor's proposal. So we are just going to indicate that that will be under separate cover in a bill that's still under consideration. So we're not making any recommendation with regard to that at this time. Okay, food bank.
Yeah, and that, you know, we discussed this on Friday. That is 2 million that we had in our kind of straw poll on Friday supported for the Vermont Food Bank to be able to purchase food that then gets distributed around Vermont to the various food banks. And that we would also support the recommendations of the Ag and GovOps committees. Ag has a recommendation for 2 million for the Vermonters Feeding Vermonters program, which funds allows folks to purchase from farms and agriculture businesses and in their area, which is kind of it's feeds Vermonters, but also really helps support our local economies. And then the 1 million for emergency food distribution. That is was in the GovOps recommendation. And that was considered, I don't know, what do you want to mention, like tied with the Meals on Wheels.
Right. So
We were.
thank you. I was concentrating on reading the next thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so so we did a straw poll that was agreed to, but this is your opportunity to issue any objection or any support for this item. So the committee on Friday supported the $2 million. And to be clear, this is an item that we were not able to find an offset in other areas for, but given the priority for food, shelter, and safety, we felt as a committee on Friday that this was important. So I just want to see, make sure that people are understanding and still feeling the same way about that.
I wasn't here on Friday, but I would add my support.
So,
If that matters.
so what isn't in the governor's budget?
The $2 million that we are requesting in our budget recommendation is not in the governor's budget at this time.
What's in the governor's budget?
Nothing.
Okay.
What would
I
be,
shouldn't say nothing. I think that this is additional funding.
I thought.
There's nothing? Zero?
Something.
It's
Nothing?
zero. Okay. Because this year's money is one time. Yeah. So we have
It's a
been,
one-time fund.
we have been doing
one.
one-time funding for the last couple of years.
And that's gone.
And that is gone. Yes. That money all goes out to communities that purchases food, that all goes out to all over the state.
Well, the government, but appropriations will make the final decision.
Yes.
No matter what we do.
Correct, but they want our recommendation. So I'm
Okay.
just letting people know where we're standing on that.
What is the proposed priority ranking for that?
Food, I have written down highest.
Would it be high? Because I thought we referenced highest would be for those where we found a source to offset.
Hmm,
Well, we found a
Yeah.
source. It's just a matter of whether or not.
It's a priority.
yeah, I mean, I have a hard time saying only high for food.
Yeah.
In this,
Yeah.
I'll just add too, in this context, like this is, the federal rules are changing substantially around 3 squares. And so we are expecting a lot of
A lot more.
shifting in terms of people losing benefits, no matter how hard we try with operational.
I think you all received, I forwarded a copy of the letter that we received from DCF noting that there's starting March 1st, 2,100 household or individuals who are receiving termination notices of their SNAP benefits or 3 squares. So it again points to the need for the benefit assisters out in the community and the outreach, because it's not because they're not eligible. It's because of the additional paperwork requirements at the federal level. So DCF's doing what it's required to do. They're not doing anything that they're not supposed to be doing, but it shows that there is a lack of resources within the system right now to do the kind of outreach that is necessary for people to understand what all these new federal changes mean to them in their household on a day-to-day basis.
And I'll just add, just to put a final point on it, is that the loss of those benefits will just mean increased need for this food in communities, right? Because this is where families and individuals are gonna go to get, if they lose their benefits, they're gonna go to.
That means they didn't get their 80 hours for volunteer and work.
It's a variety of different things. There's different paperwork requirements that they have to fulfill, and
But if they do their 80 hours, they will get their refund.
only yeah, not necessarily, because they have to provide documentation and a lot of, I just will say, there's some people who are overwhelmed when they receive a government letter and,
Everybody
really.
gets scared when you get a
Yeah,
government.
and sometimes you just kind of like put off even looking at it until it's, too late. So,
Yeah, everybody does.
Especially if you're self-employed.
Yeah.
The requirements to be able to demonstrate those.
Oh, yeah, my son did
It's experiencing homelessness. Yeah, right.
I might not even get the letter.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
Sure, I do.
okay, yes.
Oh, just going back to the previous line.
Yeah.
item that we were looking for an answer on. The movement was an increase in the general fund for most of it, and a decrease in global commitment for $40,000. So the governor's recommend is an increase in $488,000 and a decrease from general fund, global commitment funds by 40,000 for a total increase asked of 447,956.
Okay, so the net is the 447.
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually 40.
Yeah, and then it also cuts the 139, that doesn't include the 139.
The other two things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
the
get it.
Personal needs.
Okay, so, Ray, somehow we need to connect this 4048 and the 488, because they're,
Oh, it's okay.
And Sherry,
So we can get together at some point.
yeah, I'll share
Okay.
this link, this with you too.
okay, thank you.
And then I think Anne was kind of motioning to me about the comments under the food bank. There's a $2 million ad that we're recommending.
Yep.
Yes.
And then the 2 million and the 1 million below that, those are recommendations by other
Other committees.
committees. So the total ask from the food
Five.
bank is 5 million.
Oh,
Okay,
So that's how.
We're only
So
recommending
there's
two.
2 and 1, but
Right.
they're all in different committees.
okay.
If that's not clear, we can add.
no, basically it's spread across countries.
Okay. Any other questions about the food bank? Okay, thank you. Let's move on to Reach Up.
Yeah, so I mean, we have our general concerns with, cutting caseloads, and decreasing that rather than, working to reduce the rateable reduction and put more money in families' pockets. We also learned we talked about this a bit on Friday, but we also learned in the final days that there is 1.5 million that sits in House Healthcare's committee that was cut. I connected with Rep. Rebecca and Brooke Goldman today during lunch, and they said it does appear in their budget, but when they asked about it, they were told it is over here in House Human Services, and we're told it's in there, and so it kind of fell through the cracks. And they've already voted and submitted their recommendations, so they have no way to update those. But those are what we had Amy Johnson when she was in last week, it just talked about what their positions are. And my understanding is those are for the DAs and SSAs. Some of them have grant funding, and this allows them to work with Reach Up participants right away. It funds those services and their ability to work with them so that they don't have to wait for a diagnosis and Medicaid to kick in. It allows them to gain connection to services and treatment right away. And while they're basically navigating stress and crisis at home. So it's a weird situation, and I'm not sure how we rectify it. I know normally we wouldn't be like, this other committee, should put this in their budget. Normally we just agree with the recommendation, but they're also like, hey, this isn't something we necessarily agree with. It wasn't on our radar.
Right. And just to clarify, we our budget team heard that DCF actually had transferred those funds to mental health some years ago. So it wasn't a decrease in the DCF budget. It was a decrease in the DMH budget.
No.
And it would be helpful. I don't know if we can find out how many households or how many people have been served, in a typical year for this money. But this isn't the only area that the healthcare committee failed to take up. They also failed to take up the community resource center that was also funded by the Department of Mental Health in Chittenden County. And so then people came here asking for money.
They also thought that was, I think we're led a bit that was in our committee as well.
I'm not really sure because, yes, I understand what you're saying. I'm not sure why they didn't do their own deep dive and realize it was in their own budget, but I'll just say that I prefer our process.
So that was actually a special program that was initiated, I think, roughly 5 years ago. And what it was trying to do was target people who they were, it connected very much with making reach up work in terms of people getting off disability and into work. And those things that by having those reach up recipients get the mental health support they needed to be able to work. So I do fear the unintended consequences of cutting that money if it leaves people.
So I've made a note to put this actually in the cover memo to highlight it.
Yeah.
And as well as the Community Resource Center with CVOEO in the cover letter. Because both of those things were in the DMH budget. And we don't have jurisdiction over the DMH budget, but we can raise our concerns about that.
So we raised our concerns kind of on both counts that, despite we keep seeing just cuts to the reach up portion of the budget, despite we all know costs are going up rapidly each year for all Vermonters, and also just that just noted this situation around these cuts.
And
DMH.
can I just double check that the actually in two places where I saw where it says recommended the TANF revenue realignment, if that's net neutral, we don't need to include that. Is that? So I think that's the same thing as the two
We
of those.
saw it in the BAA, I believe
Yeah.
it's that moving
That
it, yeah,
So the,
yeah.
Might get rid of that.
both of them, but that one and the one above it.
One thing I know, and you know, you and I have talked about this, Chair, is having an opportunity to really dig into reach out to TANF, you know, where all of the funds are going. I mean, it's, you think of it as this program for folks to increase their economic security. And a lot of the funds are going into like childcare and transportation and not actually the traditional original kind of purposes. So I don't know, perhaps in the cover memo, but it's expressing a commitment or a desire for our two committees to work together to really look into how this money is being spent, whether that is the best use for those funds or the best way to use those dollars, if there aren't other areas in the budget that we could be backfilling instead. So that, yeah, I'd just like to raise that as well.
Okay. Yes, I've made note of that. We need to really take a deeper dive into that whole area. And we may have some time to do that in the second half of the.
Okay, and then we have OEO, and that is again, kind of one of those pending separate bill under consideration. And that, in the governor's recommend, we see a $23 million increase, for, housing and shelter related, activities. So we'll get into that. There was some decreases that were, net neutral BAA type items, so we could,
Yeah, we can
remove
take that
those.
out. We should make note of the 21 positions, however.
Yeah, that's what, I was just
It's
thinking,
Yeah, that we should just put a bullet in there for the,
21
maybe they have-
positions.
maybe they have it up here
Is it-
in place. Based impact, cold weather. They don't, but
Is it up-
it was in their book, it's
Yeah,
2 point something million. We can find it, but if you would just
Yeah.
make a note of 21 positions.
Where is this?
This is on the, we're on,
I mean, I'm here, I'm at, which is it?
it's gonna be under Department for Children and Families, Office of Economic Opportunity.
No, I'm here, but is it one of these?
No, it's not there. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna add it.
Oh, you're adding it.
Because
Is it?
it's in the budget. It
Yes.
just,
Under
three, yeah, 316.
Positions?
it's under 316, right?
Yeah, it's in, yeah, DCF admin.
But it's not new
Page
positions.
132.
I got it. Oh,
So
yeah,
it's not gonna be a
105
new
here.
appropriation of 2.2 million, basically.
So there are new positions?
That is what the governor's proposed.
Oh,
Yeah, we're not agreeing with it or disagreeing at this. We're not agreeing or disagreeing at this point in time. It's just part of the overall housing proposal.
okay, but it is
So
in the
I
governor's
just found it in their book, and so we are
proposal.
adding it in. It's 2.2 million and change.
3.2.
Okay?
And then we have 211. This would just be for us to support House Healthcare's recommendation. I mentioned on Friday that they had some one-time funds that they were going to be able to use to fill in that gap to level fund 211 this year, and will allow them to make some technological updates that will help streamline their processes going forward. And so this is just a recommendation that we support that. It's not, it won't come out of kind of our budget areas. And then we had just talked about end homelessness Vermont, and we had received a letter with endorsements from 15 other partner organizations. A lot of these are not just like a single organization. They're coalitions, they're partner organizations with multiple members, which means their governance structure, those multiple members all voted in support of their organization supporting this request. And that happened 15 times.
And I am also going to indicate here to indicate funding from FY 25 carry forward
Oh, I like that. Okay.
for a source of funds.
Yeah.
The source of funds.
Source of funds, right. I don't know how you put those in there. I'll let you do it, right?
Which,
Um,
you're talking about the end homeless.
Or the end homelessness Vermont, the
There's
511.
11 million.
They're under the umbrella of Vermont Kin.
Yes.
So should it be Vermont Kin?
No, they're they're the fiscal agent.
And where would the money come from?
From carry forward from FY 25.
And I've got a letter into them for a breakdown of 24, 25 spreadsheet on expenditures. But I haven't got it yet.
Okay.
So I can't approve it yet because I'm a researcher. When I was an accountant, so I have to have checks and balances for everything I do.
Okay, that's why we've identified a funding source for it.
Carry forward from.
Okay.
And I would like to put that
Carry
in
forward.
highest, since we do have a funding source and we've said that food and shelter were our highest priorities.
Food, shelter, and I've added safety.
Oh,
What I
I
can
like
do
that.
when I get the spreadsheet, I can send it down to appropriations. That's what I'll do. Hopefully I'll get it while they're
Okay.
working on it.
All right, so we're moving next to Dale.
Send it to me. They haven't even acknowledged me. Okay.
Okay, so first thing we have on our list is in section B 330 Meals on Wheels. There is no increased funding in FY 27 budget. Sorry, I got extra dollar sign in there. I'll just fix. There were nearly 1 million meals delivered. I can run through all this. We're requesting.
Yeah, no, you don't need to, I
Okay.
mean, that's
We're
good.
requesting $1 million or $1 a meal increase in the FY 27 budget to offset the inflationary costs that have been affecting all of us as well as these programs.
And, oh, right there, no, like, where's the number of meals delivered right there? It's the first
It had a
thing.
dollar sign.
I
Yeah.
put
They just
dollar
took
sign
out-
there.
They took it
I see
out.
numbers and I just put dollar sign.
Yeah. And actually, it's really close to the same because it's about $1 a meal that we're
So,
interested in.
and if there is language, so if we can
Yes.
add C language.
We do have language that we're working on that we're provide us with some data on how many meals are delivered and where they're delivered, waiting lists, and the reimbursement rates. So
And that this would be spit it out, Teresa. This would be in general fund,
correct,
so
and not GF, and
and
not
not-
GC,
not global commitment,
correct, or investment.
in that, in global commitment investments, yeah. Anybody have any issues with Meals on Wheels? Okay,
Next is looking at our residential care, ACCS. So these are the providers that are a much less cost than providing nursing home level of care. And I just put in here a 1% increase. They serve 6,009 people. Many are, aging in our communities, and this is a way to keep them out of skilled nursing facilities at much less cost. I'll just leave it at the fact that 1% is 84,000 in general fund for ACCS, and then the ERCs, which is enhanced residential care. So this pays for greater care as people need more access to nursing home level or up to and including nursing home level of care. It's an additional 85,000 general fund for each 1%, which is both are eligible for local commitment.
So I'm just gonna deliver the bad news there. That, while we won't be including this in our budget memo, this is the chair's prerogative, and I'm sorry for people out there who,
I also concur. I
looking-
mean, I think this is a COLA and
It is a
we kind
COLA.
of across the board have, talked a lot about, we had a COLA request that would really go, have an impact, and we made the tough decision to leave that out. So I just feel like,
but we do need to put in here, annualization. I don't see it in here, Dan. The annualization of the BAA.
Correct.
So we need the numbers in here for that.
You want me to put that in?
Oh, that
yeah.
definitely has to be in
Okay,
here
so
because
this-
that's not in the governor's budget.
Yeah, so what she's talking about is when we did the budget adjustment,
Leave this part.
we shoot, I don't have it on this page. Anyways, we put more money into the budget under the budget adjustment for ERC1 and ACCS. So we just need to include that moving forward at
Just ERC1
ERC1 at level funding.
and AAA's case management rate.
Yep. Okay, sorry, I have those numbers, and Ray, I'll put those in after.
And will you just double check with Nolan?
Mhm.
Because what's in BAA is 1 quarter because they started
Correct.
April 1.
Yep.
But I don't know if they increased the base, if they ended up increasing the base. So
Yeah.
I don't know if we need 3 quarters or a full year.
Right, okay. Just delete it, don't cross it out, that looks bad. Sorry.
I don't have a place for that.
It's fine, I'll fix
So
it.
Well, you could have just left that there. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Sorry, I believe in these services and whatever.
We
I
do
get
too.
it.
We
I
do
know,
too, Dan.
I get it. Okay, so next is home share.
So I need to be, sort of, very directive about this. This needs to go by end of business today.
Oh, yeah, I'll
To
pull it up out of
So,
Mhm.
but I just need, I don't know
Yeah.
that question unless you know the answer to that.
my.
Whether the 1 quarter they included, if they put it in the base or if they just did it one time.
Oh,
So whether we
Okay.
need 3 quarters or whether we need the full year.
we need, okay, I will double check.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. Okay, and I'll have that shortly.
So that is, just to follow along, and if you recall in our BAA, the department had reduced ERC level 1 rates, to, as Dan put it, less than what we pay to, board our pets, on a daily rate. And so we, put it back at the FY 25 rates of $72 and change per day. And the AAAs, for some reason, were left out of the 2% cost of living increase in FY 26. Ooh, Nolan, you were listening, weren't you?
Oh, yes.
Say no one's too tired.
So we added that 2%, but we only added it starting April 1 because they said they can't do retroactive, although by the time they get it, it'll probably be retroactive. So Nolan, let's just ask you the question since you're here. The money we put in for the elevating the ERC rate back up to FY 25 levels, the $72 a day, and the 2% COLA for the AAA case management. Was that in the base? Did that go into the base or just went in?
That's base.
Okay, but only for 1 quarter. So we need 3 quarters here in our budget memo.
Yeah, I mean, it should, I think it's good to put in your memo as a reminder,
Yeah,
because the administration, since they didn't do the BAA, it's not gonna be in there. For the record, no one might all drop this well. Since it wasn't in their BAA or their budget, it's not gonna be in their base. Because we did it in BAA, we have to carry it in our base. So I think it's a good reminder in your letter.
okay. So, I
Yeah,
think.
so it's 1 quarter, 267,888,
No, it's 3 quarters.
3 quarters.
We need 3
That's
quarters.
for one.
You did 1 quarter for fiscal year 26. So it's
Right.
Can you get us the 3 quarter?
But that's the
amount?
1 quarter amount.
Right, but the match rates are different for FY 27.
This one.
You know what I'm asking for, Nolan?
You're asking for the 27 cut?
Yes.
So it's,
It's annualized.
No.
Well, I know, that was my question. If in the BAA, you put it in as base funding.
Yeah. I do understand.
So if you put it in as base, we only need 3/4.
Oh,
correct.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I will get you.
And then it's
Okay.
35,
I need them,
226.
I need them like today.
Okay.
Okay,
35, 226 for the case manager.
okay.
Just put my name on BAA.
It's not those
I'll
numbers.
get Nolan.
Okay.
Nolan will give us the numbers.
Okay.
But that, you can just put a note that says it's a BAA number.
Yep.
BAA, annualization. Okay. Okay, home share.
Home share. This was one-time funding that was not included in the FY '27 budget. Allows them to provide these matching services in the Northeast Kingdom.
So, it's not, they already expanded to the Northeast Kingdom, right?
Correct.
In FY '26.
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And that
homeless
was one-time
prevention.
funding that was not included in FY '27.
Is there a revenue source for this?
There is not.
All right, well, we'll have a discussion about that in a second. Okay, funded.
And do you recall whether they testified, there was a couple of counties, I think, in which they currently don't serve. Were they looking in this upcoming fiscal year to expand into those remaining counties?
I mean, I think that's their overall goal is to expand, but they'll need to figure out how to fund it.
This is for level funding.
This is for level funding in FY '27 as it was in '26.
So without this funding, will they lose the capacity to support existing matches?
In the Northeast Kingdom, I would think that would be a true statement if they don't have the funding to run the program there.
So is this 235, was that only for the expansion in the Northeast Kingdom?
Yes.
Okay, folks, so this is a new one. This is a new one. We didn't talk about this one on Friday. I don't think we did we?
I think we ran,
Did we?
ran through all of them, I thought.
Okay. Could be having a brain freeze. What do folks want to do with this? This is about shelter as one of our priorities, and it's existing services.
Yep.
Are people okay with this? It doesn't have a source of funding, so it would be something that we would be recommending without a source of funding identified, unless we could propose to reduce choices for care by 235,000.
Good.
GF converted to GC.
Yep.
What would that be? What would that be, Nola? 235,000 converted to global commitment? I wrote down the percentage, but of course I've lost it again from last week. I think let's put that down as a source of funding, Dan.
Okay.
And appropriations can make a decision about whether or not they want that.
You want the GC match for 235,000?
Yeah,
98,500.
no, the other way. How much would 235 equal in GC?
Oh, wow.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna, talk about, speak in support of it. We've started building out the process for also to work with youth. We had our first referral recently, who have stabilized, and this feels, I've seen the success in the areas it already exists in, and being able to spread this throughout the state, I just think will be really important. It's a really relatively low cost
Very low cost.
option that increases, like when you're thinking about I'm familiar with some of these situations, and we've talked about how, like, you can't afford an apartment on Social Security, or if you have disability, or are working part-time while you're, a young adult going to school. This creates those opportunities for those housing options where you can do that, and allows folks to move into stability or just long-term sustainable partnerships that benefit kind of all of the people involved. So it's kind of a no-brainer to me, and I'm excited to see how this, once we can kind of blanket the state, I think there's a lot of room to try some really innovative things that benefit Vermonters. So,
It's actually kind of cool to hear about starting to look at this for youth in transition.
Once they've
that's cool.
stabilized,
Yeah.
done with transitional housing, but still need that, next step. It's something we're working on building out.
So Noel and I come up with 560,457.
Yep.
58, yeah. Yeah.
Are we saying reduce choices?
Reduce choices for care by 56458.
If you plug general.
Yeah. Okay. Next, Dan, long-term care ombudsman.
Long-term care ombudsman. So there was no increase in the budget. Just put in some statistics there. 493 complaints opened in FY '25. And what I found also interesting was that in FY '25, 40% of the complaints come from 7 facilities. And then 110,000 is the cost of a new employee to kind of oversee eye care and some of the other facilities that they need to keep an eye on. It's their job. The rest of the money is inflation, including health insurance. And if they don't receive it, they may have to lay off a couple employees. So 275.
So they already have, I recollect,
Mhm.
they added a staff person.
Yes.
For the Bennington area.
Yes.
Yep. In order to make the reduced travel time and to be more available. So, so I have to say that to me, the only part of this, I guess I'm trying to figure
Yeah.
out because they added that staff person with their base level of funding that they had this year.
Correct.
So we haven't decreased anything.
There was no increase in their base funding, as far as I.
Right, but I'm just saying if they funded that position this year and it wasn't decreased.
Yeah,
Mhm.
do they should theoretically have money to continue to.
What I recall the testimony being is that in order to keep up with the cost for the other staff that they have, that they would have to reduce the position in order to do that.
Correct.
Is that?
I believe that's.
I'm seeking a sideline conversation
Sorry.
kind of.
So we had one time.
Just identify yourself, please. for that.
Patty Kuiper, the state long-term care ombudsman. We had one-time funds that allowed us to get by for the last several years and spend more than our base funding. And so to be able to keep the Bennington position going forward, so that we don't have that position in our base funding. So the 275 includes that position plus we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to have
everything.
this additional person because of inflation.
What was the source of the one-time funding?
It was COVID related funds that were given to us.
Okay.
Ombudsman over there. So that was the federal.
Yeah, they were all federal funds, yeah.
Federal Base funding for federal base.
So the decision point here, folks, is whether we make a decision to continue a position that was added with COVID era funds. Which, to be fair with other places that have run out of those funds prior to this year. We did in some cases and we did not in some cases. So, for instance, there were positions associated with other legal aid requests that we have not recommended for backfilling. And there have been other positions at DCF and other places. Sometimes we did recommend and sometimes we didn't. So what's on the table here, it really is the 110,000. About whether we would continue that position for nursing home oversight.
And are we saying that in light of our other conversation about COLAs, that's all we're considering is 100?
Yes, that's all we're considering is 110,000. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, oh, that's good with us.
Yeah.
We're almost done. Okay,
Any source of funding?
yes, no. With this, we don't have a source of funding for this, other than you could say choices for care as well, because it is monitoring choices for care.
That one?
There's a connection to choices for care.
I mean, I would really like to see it if we have the money. If we don't, I get back to all of that growth money and warning everybody and saying.
Not to add positions that you can.
It's so much harder to cut something after you've started it than not start it. And we went ahead and started it. And now we're facing exactly that. So I think choices for care. I know the program pretty well. Some people know it better. And if those resources would be able to come from that, I would really, this is a really important position. With the increase in complaints.
I do feel that if we can find a source of funding, I think it's a valid and needed.
We can put it in. I don't know how it's gonna go next downstairs. Sorry, I'm messing at the same time somebody else is. It would be 262,000. 342 in a reduction in choices for care. For the, just for the 110.
Because that's general.
That's general fund.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Are any of these positions Medicaid eligible? Do you get any global commitment funds
I think we qualify for matching.
that qualify for matching? Okay, so good, then it wouldn't have to be that. Okay, so,
Not letting me-
no, I'm not
Talked about this
taking
all.
anything.
Nolan and I talked about this, so double
We
checking.
currently get Medicaid match.
Well, we'll put it in there and Nolan will correct it downstairs if we're wrong. All right, so that would require $46,123. So it would be in general fund, but it would be 110,000 from Choices for Care, not the.
Oh, 110?
Yes,
I screwed up.
that's what we're putting in anyways.
Okay.
Just making our notes right.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll fix that.
Okay.
I can't, it won't let me type them there for some reason.
Okay, and we have to move along, folks, because we're supposed to be downstairs at, it's now going to be at 2:40.
Okay.
Okay, so the deaf blind, we had lots of discussion about this. Again, these are also, we have a bill on the wall, 143, that we took testimony on last year.
And this was in the budget, but it was eliminated, these services.
Right, so actually, we should say that it was, there's no decrease. It should say a decrease there where it says no increase.
Yep, it's zero,
No, it was
no
150,000 decrease.
decrease. Mm-hmm.
Out of a total of 150 or out
Yeah.
of more, out of a total?
Yeah, they totally eliminated.
So it's right, so 150, it should say eliminating, just to make it clear, it's not just like 10%.
No, no,
And everybody agreed to that one
Yeah.
on Friday.
What, putting it back in?
Yes. Okay,
so
Sash.
the last two that I have are they're more placeholders. So first is SASH, and this is the bridge funding that is going to come out of the healthcare transformation grant. So we've been funding this. There's no funding in FY27 budget for it. They're going to use money from the healthcare transformation grant. We asked them in committee and other times. And this will allow SASH to be able to provide case management
The
until
rural health transformation.
rural health oh yeah, I got the wrong letter in there. Thank you.
I don't
Rural.
think any stash money in that grant. In the rural health transformation.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything about stash. I see blueprint. I don't see any stash money. Should double check.
I will double check, but we did ask. And am I, did anyone else hear me ask?
Yeah, no, we asked and I've heard both, that it's in and it's not in. So, I think that our note here is there's a commitment in the building to have some bridge funding
Yep.
for this. I don't know where it's gonna come from, but
There was bridge funding in 2026.
I will say, this is probably gonna go in the cover memo, not here,
That's fine.
because it is, again, something that the healthcare committee was supposed to address.
Mhm.
It was not, I don't know why they didn't address it, but we will.
Yeah.
SASH is a weird thing. We have the admin budget in Dale and the services budget is in Diva. And so, so this will go to, I'm just gonna make a thing.
I already did.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah. I
It
put
just
a
happened.
note that said add to cover memo.
Oh, okay,
Highlighted
thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then.
The same as the last one. This also is in Diva, right? And so this is the program that supports workforce development of LNAs for skilled nursing facilities. We had 500,000 one time in last year. That money ended, but there is now 850,000 that they want to use from the rural health transformation.
Okay,
grant.
we don't need to put that in this budget, in this memo at all.
Okay,
So
just go.
just delete it.
Yeah,
Completely.
yeah,
And
yeah, go ahead.
the numbers for the grant for SASH, it's 5.1 million GC, 2.1 million GF. So you have the right numbers.
Yeah.
5.1.
5.1
Mhm.
GC.
2.1
He's doing it.
GF. That's just that. Going for 26,
Right.
your calendar year 26.
Yeah.
That was bridge
So
funding.
we will, again, that will be, it won't be on our chart because it's not our area of jurisdiction.
Okay.
It will be in our cover memo,
Mhm.
outlining it, okay? All right, let's move to the Department of Health so we can get through this all.
Okay.
Want me to just touch on the grant thing? The last couple of days, it's feel like it's been a choose your own adventure novel, other than choose your own, like, money bucket. It's gonna be very transparent. It's really gotten confusing. And to try to get some level of clarity where each thing has come to, where I like to think everybody's done a great job of explaining, but it's gotten a little bit confusing. But just let me touch quickly on our decision. And there was questions asked in regards to the cutting of the AHEC grants. We did follow up to the best of our abilities and got limited responses back in regards to, like, one of the questions, can RHT grant be used for ed loan repayment? No, but what it can be used for is workforce development. It does not allow for loan repayment, but does allow for tuition reimbursement and forgiveness. And we'll focus on non-physicians. While the rural health transformation funding is different from the AHAC funding, it will be much more impactful, and they have upwards of $10 million towards workforce development, as well as tuition reimbursement and forgiveness, as well as other initiatives. So we're going to continue with our recommendation to not fund the AHAC.
Okay? Anybody have any comments about that? You all set? Do you know whether Healthcare Committee commented on this
They
in there?
recommended it. It was one of their priorities.
They recommended to
Funding, they recommended funding it, so they. did not-
AHEC or the
I
tuition
think
loan
AHEC,
repayment?
but I can look.
They have maintain area health education centers, AHEC, program support, VDH, 550
All right, so why don't we just support their recommendation?
gross amount.
For some reason, they think that they're supposed to do the health department as well. Don't ask me why.
All right.
But
And they have, yeah.
we can say that we support their recommendation.
Well, we still did our due diligence. I got that on the record.
Exactly. I got that. Okay,
I'll turn it on over to Zon to go through his rendition that he went through on Friday.
Well, nothing else changes after that. So, as far as the Department of Health goes, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we continue to support what we said the other day. I know we did have the conversation today, so it seems like, the request made from, prevention funds, fund these things. We still keep that in the letter.
What should we do here? Well,
or, I'm sorry, I was,
for
what's in
the
here?
grants, the third box down, the grants, 313 grants. This is we talked about this with the Department of Health today.
Yeah, I actually don't, since they are going in a separate bill. I don't think we need to
List them at
include
all.
them in here at all.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I was coming from, like, kind of like this choose your own adventure in regards to buckets right now. Okay.
Where things appear and where they don't appear.
Yeah.
I'm deleting it.
Yeah, we might just want to make a note that, substance use treatment for special fund is traveling in 660. So, we don't need to see all the details, but we're just making a note. And it's those, you can't have a net increase of 1 and then a total increase of, I don't know what those numbers mean.
Okay, well, let's take that out. Okay.
Yeah, well,
It just was to show when there were more boxes there, there were more,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, there were,
Okay,
so I'll take out
so
these.
take out what's not needed.
Yeah.
Okay, that brings us to the end.
Hey,
people.
wait, you have 2 more on the bottom.
Oh, sorry. I went like that and I didn't see it.
Oh, here's the 21 positions.
Yeah, I just threw that in there, but
Oh,
it doesn't have to be there. I just wanted to.
Yeah, it just goes up.
That was here.
Okay, so the benefit assisters, we directed that we utilize funds set aside for the impacts of HR 1 in the FY 26 budget of $50 million, since this has a direct impact from HR 1.
Oh, right.
And I think that it's important to put how many cross-organization
Sure,
proposal.
I can count that out.
Okay, that'd be great. And then community outreach for Chittenden County. This is again concurring with House Healthcare Support. I'll put that in the cover memo. One thing that we did not talk about that was mentioned in this committee from the testimony of the community action agencies is the Community Resource Center in Chittenden County. That again was in the DMH budget. What I'd like to be able to do is to indicate support of that it should have been in the DMH budget. But again, that would be on the front part of our cover memo. Yeah. And indicating the importance of that to homelessness and providing services to people who are homeless. So,
And we did learn for the reach up, that's in the Department of Mental Health budget with the DAs. They served over 400 clients in 2025.
okay. Okay, are there any final questions, comments? So, Ray and I will work on cleaning this up. If you have any recommendations, for language that are not finalized yet, they have to be finalized today. I'll be putting the memo and the language and the chart together and delivering it later this evening to House Appropriation. Thank you all for your hard work, and appreciate the time and attention that you put into this, and a special shout out to Ray for
Mhm.
being the facilitator of the chart. I appreciate that very much. Okay, so folks, we are going to move downstairs to room 11 for a joint hearing on pre-K, hearing the JFO report.